Diagnosed at age 2 with infantile spinal muscular atrophy, Dana Vaughn doesn't remember a time before being afflicted with a neuromuscular disorder. Just a few short years later, she would be confined to a wheelchair.
They try to put off putting kids in wheelchairs as long as possible because, you know, it's better for their muscles, better for them to move around as much as they can without the chair. So I was about 6 before I got a wheelchair. And then after that, I was about 12 before I got my first electric wheelchair. And then since then, I think I've had either 5 or 6.
But being in a wheelchair hasn't slowed Dana down. She graduated from UALR and works as a graphic artist. Her typical day might sound like anyone else's.
I leave for work at about 10:45, go to work at a publishing company here in town, work there for about 6 hours, come home, usually eat dinner. I might go out with friends, might go to a movie, I might do some volunteer work, I might paint or read. Pretty much your typical day, except for I have to have some help with mine, but pretty much what everybody else does.
In her spare time, Dana also gives back to the MDA and other organizations through her volunteer work. She recently used her skills as a graphic artist to create a design for the MDA summer camp program.
They asked me to design a logo for their summer camp, and I did, and they used it on the t-shirts. I saw one, I guess, I think within the last 2 weeks was the first time I actually saw the shirt, and it looked like the little boy had worn it quite a bit because it was pretty faded.
As an artist, Dana loves to paint, and much of her artwork can be found throughout her home.
It's supposed to be expressionism, impressionism, and realism.
And now, painting just got a little easier for Dana, thanks to a new electric wheelchair with a special feature.
When I paint, I can reach the canvas better because I can lower it or raise it as needed, so it's helpful in a lot of ways.
Before, Dana couldn't reach the top half of the canvas, so she would paint the top half of her piece upside down. If it wasn't for the MDA, Dana probably wouldn't have this chair.
Some people think it might be a frivolous, expense, like insurance companies won't pay for the seat elevator portion of the chair because they think it's an expense that's not really medically necessary. But when it allows you to give so much more independence and allows you so much more confidence, it's important.
But to Dana, that's far from the most important part of what the MDA does. It's the research that's being done to beat the disease.
Having lost my brother, it's just to know that they're looking as fast as they can for a cure, that's immeasurable to someone who has the disease.
2 years ago, Dana lost her older brother to the same neuromuscular disorder that she has. The research that the MDA does gives Dana hope that one day muscular dystrophy will be curable.
If one of my nephews or my niece had a child that had muscular dystrophy, it's awesome for me to think that there might be a cure down the road for that, so they wouldn't have to go through the things that I or my brother had to go through.